Can one truly know another without first knowing themselves? This question, like a mirror, reflects one of the central tenets of Carl Jung's work. Jung believed that our inner world, our shadows and archetypes, not only shapes who we are, but also dictates how we connect with others. Love, one of the most profound human experiences, lies at the heart of these connections. But what lies beyond the surface of love and intimacy? Jung argued that the relationship between man and woman is not merely a union of two individuals, but a dialogue between their conscious and unconscious selves. The beginning of the analysis: archetypes and shadows in love. One of Jung's core concepts is that of archetypes, universal images and ideas residing in the collective unconscious. Among these, the archetypes of anima and animus play a pivotal role in relationships between men and women. The anima represents the unconscious feminine side of a man, the source of his intuition, emotions, and images. The animus embodies the masculine side of a woman, her logic, strength, and direction. These archetypes help explain why individuals are often drawn to those who embody their inner images. We subconsciously seek in others what we lack within ourselves. But herein lies the challenge. Jung posited that without awareness and integration of these archetypes, people can fall prey to illusions. A man might idealize a woman, projecting his anima onto her, and vice versa. Such projections create the illusion of love, but over time, this illusion can fade, leaving behind disillusionment. The shadow as an obstacle to intimacy. The shadow, another vital component of Jungian psychology, represents those aspects of ourselves we suppress or reject. In relationships, the shadow can manifest as irritation, resentment, or even hostility toward a partner. This happens because we unconsciously see our own flaws reflected in them. For instance, someone who represses feelings of vulnerability might disdain their partner for showing weakness. Such shadow projections can undermine even the strongest bonds if both partners are unwilling to confront their true selves. The nature of genuine intimacy. Jung believed that true love is not about possessing another person, but about understanding them while simultaneously discovering oneself more deeply. This process requires integrating the shadow and becoming conscious of our archetypes. When a man begins to understand his anima, he stops idealizing women and starts seeing them as they truly are, with all their complexities and contradictions. Similarly, a woman who becomes aware of her animus gains a clearer perspective on men. This paves the way for genuine intimacy, free from illusions and projections. The role of individuation in relationships. Jung introduced the concept of individuation, the process through which a person becomes a whole, integrated individual by uniting all aspects of their psyche. This journey is crucial not only for personal growth, but also for creating harmonious relationships. Individuation enables partners to abandon mutual projections and build connections based on genuine perception of one another. It also equips them to navigate the inevitable conflicts in any relationship. Jung emphasized that conflict is not only unavoidable but also beneficial, provided it is used as an opportunity for growth rather than destruction. Conclusion of the first stage. Jungian psychology teaches us that the relationship between man and woman is not merely a pursuit of happiness, but a profound journey of self-discovery. Only by understanding our archetypes, integrating our shadows, and undergoing individuation can we achieve true intimacy. This journey is fraught with challenges, But within these challenges lies the sublime beauty of human connection. Anima and animus, archetypes shaping love. Carl Jung viewed the anima and animus as keys to understanding not only romantic attraction, but also the deeper layers of human nature. The anima represents the unconscious feminine image within a man, encompassing ideals, emotions, and creative visions. It is not simply a stereotype, but a profound archetype that often manifests through dreams, artistic expression, or intense emotional connections. The animus, conversely, is the reflection of the masculine in the female psyche, embodying traits like logic, strength, and decisiveness. These archetypes deeply influence how we perceive and interact with others, especially in romantic contexts. They drive us to seek partners who reflect our inner ideals, yet they can also lead to disillusionment when reality fails to match the image we've projected. Projection, the source of euphoria and disappointment. The beginning of romantic love often involves projection. A man may see in a woman not her true self, but an embodiment of his anima, the softness, creativity, or ideal beauty he unconsciously yearns for. Similarly, a woman might project her animus onto a man, viewing him as the ultimate protector, teacher, or guide. These projections create the intoxicating euphoria of early love. But as time passes, reality begins to assert itself. The other person's individuality, flaws, and contradictions emerge, and the illusion of perfection shatters. Jung argued that relationships built solely on projections are doomed to falter. Yet, this disillusionment need not signify the end of love. Rather, it marks the beginning of a deeper, more authentic connection if both partners are willing to move beyond the illusion. How to overcome projections. Self-reflection. Examine what attracts you to your partner and ask yourself whether it reflects aspects of yourself that you suppress or undervalue. And 2. Acknowledging humanity. Accept that your partner is not an archetype or an ideal, but a complex, imperfect human being with fears, flaws, and dreams. And 3. Engaging in dialogue. Communicate honestly about feelings and expectations without blame. This creates space to dismantle illusions and build a deeper connection. The role of art and myths. In understanding anima and animus, Jung believed that myths and art offer invaluable insights into the archetypes at work in our lives. Through literature, music, and visual art, we can recognize and engage with these internal images more consciously. For instance, in the myth of Pygmalion, who fell in love with his statue Galatea, we see a profound symbol of anima projection. Pygmalion is enamored with his creation, an idealized version of femininity. However, the story also reflects transformation. Love becomes real when Galatea is brought to life and becomes a living woman. Such myths teach us that while projection may initiate love, the journey toward authentic connection requires us to see and accept our partner as they truly are. The shadow's influence on love. In Jungian psychology, the shadow represents the hidden or suppressed aspect of the self, traits we reject or fear to acknowledge. These disowned parts of ourselves don't simply disappear. They find expression in our relationships, often with unexpected and destructive consequences. When two people come together in intimacy, their shadows inevitably collide, creating challenges that test the strength and depth of their bond. The shadow's role in attraction. Interestingly, the shadow can play a role in attraction. We are often drawn to people who embody qualities we suppress in ourselves. For instance, A reserved individual might be irresistibly attracted to a free-spirited partner, seeing in them the expression of a freedom they deny themselves. While this dynamic can lead to growth and balance, it can also become a source of conflict if the shadow remains unacknowledged. As Jung noted, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. In relationships, this irritation often arises from shadow projections. A partner's habits or behaviors that we find intolerable may reflect parts of ourselves we are unwilling to face. For example, someone who struggles with insecurity might harshly criticize their partner's cautiousness, failing to recognize that it mirrors their own fear of risk. Shadow conflicts. The hidden saboteur. Unaddressed shadows can create cycles of conflict in relationships. Imagine two partners, each carrying unexamined fears of rejection. One partner might become overly controlling, trying to prevent abandonment, while the other becomes withdrawn, fearing suffocation. Both behaviors reinforce the other's fears, creating a destructive loop. Such patterns can erode trust and intimacy, but they also offer opportunities for profound transformation. By confronting the shadow, partners can break free from these cycles and foster deeper understanding. Integrating the shadow in relationships. Jung emphasized the importance of integrating the shadow as a pathway to wholeness and authentic love. This process requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. Here's how partners can work with their shadows together. Awareness through reflection. Take time to identify recurring conflicts or irritations in the relationship. Ask yourself whether these moments reflect unacknowledged parts of your own psyche. And 2. Vulnerability and dialogue. Share fears and insecurities openly with your partner. This requires trust, but can illuminate hidden shadows and dissolve mutual projections. And 3. Compassionate acceptance. Recognize that your partner's flaws and struggles mirror your own humanity. By extending compassion to them, you also learn to be gentler with yourself. The gift of shadow work. Though the shadow can seem like a force of destruction, it is also a source of immense creativity and growth. By integrating the shadow, individuals unlock parts of themselves that were previously hidden, gaining greater self-awareness and emotional resilience. For relationships, this integration fosters a connection that is not only deeper, but also more resilient in the face of challenges. Myths and metaphors of the shadow. The concept of the shadow is richly illustrated in myths and literature. Take, for instance, the myth of the Minotaur in the labyrinth. This creature, hidden in the depths of the maze, symbolizes the shadow, something feared and buried. The hero's journey to confront the Minotaur represents the process of facing and integrating our darker aspects. In relationships, both partners must undertake this journey, navigating the labyrinth of their own psyches while supporting each other. Such myths remind us that the confrontation with the shadow is not an end but a beginning. It is through this process that love transcends the superficial and becomes transformative. The dance of individuation in love. In the intricate waltz of human connection, Carl Jung's concept of individuation stands as both the melody and the rhythm. Individuation is the process of becoming one's truest self, a journey that demands the integration of conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche. It is a solitary endeavor, yet it finds its richest expression in relationships. Here, two individuals, each striving to complete their own symphony, must learn to harmonize without losing their unique notes. But how can love flourish when it asks us to embrace both togetherness and individuality? How do we keep the self intact while surrendering to the union? Love as a mirror and a catalyst. Jung argued that relationships serve as mirrors, reflecting both our strengths and our weaknesses. In love, we see not only the beauty of our partner's soul, but also the imperfections we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. This duality is essential. Without it, love stagnates, turning into mere comfort rather than a force for transformation. In the poetry of connection, love is both the muse and the critic. It inspires us to create, to become, to give. Yet it also challenges us, revealing where we are incomplete or afraid to grow. This tension, the pull between self and other, is not a flaw in love, but its essence. The union of opposites, alchemy of the soul. Jung often used the metaphor of alchemy to describe the transformative potential of relationships. Just as alchemists sought to turn lead into gold, love offers a path to transmute base desires into higher truths. The alchemical conjunctio, or sacred union, symbolizes the merging of opposites, masculine and feminine, conscious and unconscious, self and other. In relationships, this merging is not about losing oneself in another, but about co-creating a new reality. Jung described this as the syzygy, a divine coupling where each partner retains their individuality while forming a unified whole. Such a union requires profound self-awareness, for without it, one risks either domination or dissolution. The trials of individuation in love. The path of individuation in relationships is fraught with challenges. One common struggle is the temptation to sacrifice the self for the sake of harmony. Many lovers fall into the trap of conformity, silencing their true desires to avoid conflict. Yet Jung warned that this self-abandonment breeds resentment and undermines the authenticity of the bond. On the other hand, rigid individualism, clinging to one's autonomy at the expense of connection, creates distance and alienation. True individuation requires balancing these extremes, embracing both the need for connection and the necessity of self-expression. Steps toward individuated love. Recognize the self in the other. See your partner not as a source of completion, but as a companion on the journey of self-discovery. Their struggles and triumphs reflect your own. And 2. Cultivate inner wholeness. Work on integrating your own psyche, shadow, anima, animus, so that your love is an offering, not a demand. And 3. Honor the space between. Relationships are not about merging into one being, but about creating a shared space where both can grow. This sacred space requires respect, trust, and mutual support. The poetic tension of individuation love, in its highest form, is a paradox, a union of opposites, a dance of intimacy and solitude, a mirror and a window. It is through this paradox that relationships become a canvas for individuation. Each brushstroke, every argument, every reconciliation, every moment of laughter paints a picture not only of the couple, but of the individuals they are becoming. As Rilke wrote, "For one human being to love another, that is perhaps the most difficult of all our tasks. And yet, it is also the most beautiful, for it teaches us to embrace the fullness of life, the joy and the pain, the self and the other, the journey and the destination." Conflict as the crucible of transformation. In the symphony of love, conflict is the dissonant note that forces us to pause, reflect, and grow. Carl Jung viewed conflict not as a failure of connection, but as an essential force for transformation. It is through the friction of opposing desires, expectations, and fears that we refine our understanding of ourselves and our partners. Conflict, in its raw form, is neither destructive nor constructive. It is simply energy. How we harness this energy determines whether it will tear us apart or forge a deeper bond. The meaning of conflict in relationships. Jung taught that conflict often arises from the clash between our conscious intentions and the unconscious forces within us. When these forces remain unacknowledged, they project outward, creating tension between partners. For example, a person who fears vulnerability might accuse their partner of being emotionally distant. And someone who craves independence might criticize their partner for being overly demanding. In both cases, the true source of conflict lies within, yet it manifests in the space between. Jung emphasized that every argument carries a hidden message. Beneath the surface of anger or frustration lies an invitation to explore deeper truths. What are you truly fighting for? What unspoken fears or unmet needs fuel the tension? These questions transform conflict from a destructive force into an opportunity for growth. The shadow at play in conflict. The shadow often emerges most vividly in moments of strife. When we are hurt or threatened, our suppressed fears, insecurities, and resentments rise to the surface. These shadows can distort our perception, making us see our partner as an adversary rather than an ally. Consider the myth of Narcissus, who fell in love with his reflection but drowned in its depths. This myth serves as a cautionary tale about the danger of unexamined projections. In relationships, conflict often reflects our own unresolved issues, yet we mistakenly attribute them to our partner. Recognizing this dynamic is the first step toward resolution. Strategies for transforming conflict. Pause and reflect. Before reacting, take a moment to examine your emotions. Ask yourself, is this anger truly about the present situation, or is it rooted in deeper fears or unmet expectations? And 2. Seek the deeper meaning. Conflict is rarely about surface-level disagreements. Look for the underlying themes: power, security, autonomy, connection that drive the tension. And 3. Communicate with intention. Speak not to blame, but to understand. Share your feelings without accusing your partner. For example, say, "I feel unheard," rather than, "You never listened to me." And 4. Practice self-awareness. Regularly engage in self-reflection to uncover the unconscious forces influencing your behavior. This practice reduces the likelihood of projecting unresolved issues onto your partner. Each argument is a chance to learn more about yourself and your partner. The myth of the phoenix. Rebirth through struggle. Jung often drew upon myths to illustrate psychological truths, and the phoenix serves as a powerful symbol for relationships. This mythical bird, consumed by flames, rises anew from its ashes. In relationships, conflict acts as the fire, burning away illusions and outdated patterns. Though painful, this process clears the way for renewal and rebirth. Just as the phoenix must endure destruction to be reborn, relationships must face and transcend conflict to reach greater levels of intimacy and understanding. This alchemical transformation, the turning of discord into harmony, is the true test of love. The gift of conflict, far from being a sign of weakness, is a testament to the depth of a relationship. It reveals that both partners care deeply enough to confront difficult truths. By embracing conflict as a crucible for growth, Couples can transform their connection from a fleeting romance into a profound partnership rooted in authenticity and resilience. Love's ultimate transformation, the union of conscious and unconscious. At the heart of Carl Jung's exploration of relationships lies the concept of wholeness, a state where the conscious and unconscious aspects of the self are harmoniously integrated. This process is not an easy one, nor is it linear. It is rather a dynamic unfolding of the psyche through life's challenges, relationships, and self-discovery. When two people come together in love, they are not simply merging their desires and passions. They are embarking on a journey toward mutual individuation. Jung's idea of synchronicity, the meaningful coincidence of events, also plays a key role here. When two individuals meet and begin a relationship, it is often more than just chance. It may represent a coming together of elements from both their unconscious realms, leading them to cross paths at a pivotal moment of their individual journeys. In this sense, love is not only a personal connection, but a cosmic alignment that brings two souls together to help them grow. The power of conscious love. True love, according to Jung, is not simply a blissful escape from reality, but an active, conscious engagement with both the self and the other. It requires the integration of unconscious material, the aspects of the self we tend to repress or overlook, into the conscious life of the relationship. This is where the process of individuation becomes paramount. As we become more aware of our unconscious tendencies, desires, and projections, we gain the ability to love in a way that is more grounded and genuine. In conscious love, we no longer idealize our partner or project our shadows onto them. Instead, we love them for who they are, their beauty, their flaws, their complexity. This type of love is not dependent on fleeting emotions, but is a steady force that grows and evolves as we learn more about ourselves and each other. In this sense, it becomes less about possessing and more about being present, seeing the other fully as they are without trying to change or control them. Integration and the dance of Eros. Jung viewed Eros, the Greek god of love, as a powerful force that drives individuals toward unity and wholeness. Eros is not merely sexual desire, but the deep, magnetic pull that leads us to seek connection with another human being. This force is essential to the process of individuation. Through love, we come to understand not only who we are, but also who we can become. However, Eros is a double-edged sword. While it leads us toward union, it can also uncover our deepest wounds, desires, and shadows. It brings us into confrontation with the unconscious, compelling us to face those aspects of ourselves that are often hidden. In this way, love is both an experience of great joy and profound pain. It calls us to step outside of our comfort zones, to face our inner contradictions, and to embrace the fullness of the human experience. Moving toward wholeness. The role of love in individuation. As partners progress through their relationship, they continue to move toward a deeper sense of wholeness. This journey is not only about learning to love the other person, but also about learning to love oneself. By accepting the full spectrum of one's being, including the unconscious aspects that had previously been ignored or denied. In an individuated relationship, love becomes an ongoing process of transformation. It is not static. It is a dynamic dance that requires constant effort, self-awareness, and mutual respect. Each partner continues to grow and evolve, both as an individual and within the partnership. This evolution can be challenging, but it is also deeply rewarding, as the relationship becomes a living testament to both personal and shared development. The myth of Psyche and Eros. The journey toward transformation. The myth of Psyche and Eros beautifully captures the essence of love as a transformative force. Psyche, the mortal woman, must undergo a series of trials before she can be reunited with her lover, Eros, the god of love. These trials symbolize the inner work required to truly know oneself and become whole. Like Psyche, individuals in love must confront their deepest fears, endure moments of separation and confusion, and ultimately emerge stronger and more integrated. In relationships, this myth plays out daily. The journey toward transformation is often riddled with obstacles, misunderstandings, frustrations, and fears. But it is through these challenges that both partners are shaped and refined. The reward is not just the union of two people, but the evolution of both individuals into fuller, more complete versions of themselves. Love as the path to self-realization. Jung believed that the ultimate goal of life was self-realization, the process of becoming the fullest expression of who we are. In relationships, this process is accelerated. Love serves as both a mirror and a crucible, reflecting our deepest desires, our unmet needs, and our suppressed emotions. Through this reflection, we come to know ourselves more intimately, and in doing so, move closer to realizing our true potential. In the journey of love, we come to understand that the other person is not the solution to our problems or the key to our happiness. Instead, they are a fellow traveler on the road to self-discovery. Together, we create a space where we can confront our inner darkness, embrace our light, and ultimately become the people we were meant to be. Conclusion: the unfolding journey of love. As we journey deeper into love, we realize that it is not a destination, but an unfolding process, one that requires us to constantly evolve, learn, and grow. Love, in the Jungian sense, is not about finding someone who completes us. It is about two individuals coming together to help each other complete themselves. It is about two souls navigating the complex terrain of self and other, all the while supporting each other on the path of individuation. This dynamic process of transformation is the essence of human connection. Through love, we discover not just our partner, but ourselves, our strengths, our vulnerabilities, and our capacity for growth. By embracing this process, we learn that love, in its deepest form, is a journey of continuous unfolding. The eternal journey, love and individuation. In the end, the essence of love, as Carl Jung envisioned it, is not a static force, but a dynamic, ever-evolving journey towards self-realization. It is a union of opposites, a dance of light and shadow, of conscious and unconscious forces. Each relationship serves as a mirror, reflecting both our divine potential and our deepest fears. Through this reflection, we are invited to grow, to evolve, and to become more than we were before. Jung's concept of individuation teaches us that true intimacy is not about losing ourselves in another person, but about finding ourselves through them. Love becomes the sacred ground where we are both tested and transformed, where our shadows are brought into the light and our deepest potentials are realized. Through love, we come to understand that the journey is not about perfection, but about the continuous unfolding of who we truly are. This process is not always easy. It requires vulnerability, self-awareness, and the courage to face both the beauty and the complexity of ourselves and our partners. Yet, in embracing the challenge of love, we embark on the most profound journey a person can undertake. the journey of becoming whole. As we conclude this exploration of Jungian psychology and relationships, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences of love. How has your journey towards self-realization been shaped by your relationships? Do you see your partnerships as opportunities for growth and transformation? What challenges have you faced in integrating your own unconscious material into your love life? I encourage you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Let's open up a space for discussion and explore the depths of love and individuation together. What have you discovered about yourself through the people you have loved? How do you navigate the delicate balance between selfhood and union in your relationships?